In November 2023, Zoocci Dope released a song called State of Mind 5 after not dropping music for nearly a year. Before the release of the song, Zoocci's last release was Anxiety Plus, which dropped in February 2022. On the State of Mind 5, Zoocci explains exactly what has been happening between him and his label, Stay Low. The song is also a diss track aimed at Von Thiel, the CEO of Stay Low and Zoocci's former manager. On the song, Zoocci shares details of what has been happening behind the scenes, his beef with Von and his label, Stay Low. Now, a beef between an artist and a record label is nothing new. Such scenarios have been happening for decades. I mean, take a look at Ambitious Entertainment and how artists like MT, Amanda Black, Aries, and others have fought over money or ownership of the music. Zoocci's story is quite an interesting one for me, especially because I've been a fan of his music for a very long time. Now, I know some people want me to jump straight into the juicy parts, but before we do that, I just want to go back a little bit in order to understand Zoocci's story better.
What I think of Zoocci Dope whole-roundedly, I think he's very focused, man. That's one thing about Zoocci. You know, if it's he has his priorities in order. If it's about music, it's about music. You know what I mean? If you're just chilling, you're just chilling. And when you get to know him as a person, you get to understand that he loves what he does, and it's all that matters to him. He takes care of it. You know what I mean? All his heart just takes care of it. So Zoocci is a very focused person. That's what Zoocci is. Zoocci's coming for it. You know? And as a person, Zoocci, you can tell Zoocci's understanding. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's full of understanding.
So, it's 2015 in Pretoria and Zoocci bumps into Black Les, who was huge at the time in SA hip hop. He approached him and asked for his email address. 2 days later, he sent him 2 beats. One of those beats ended up being the single called Freedom of Fame. The success of the song put Zoocci on the map, and suddenly artists from around Pretoria started working with Zoocci. According to Zoocci, the success of Freedom of Fame was not life-changing, but it managed to put him on the map. Around the same time, Zoocci was a sound engineering student but dropped out and continued producing music alongside his friends. Because he was around a lot of artists back then, he started producing for X Global, who later introduced him to the Wrecking Crew, where he grew his network even stronger. In 2017, he produced songs for Aries, X Global, DJ Speedster, and a whole other artists in the hip-hop fraternity. Besides producing for other artists, Zoocci was also dropping hits back to back and doing collaborations with artists such as Big Star Johnson, Reason, and others. And then, after that, he briefly signed with 5th Season. The reason I'm saying briefly signed is because I don't know his exact situation with 5th Season, but he did release music under the label. I believe things between him and 5th Season ended up in a contract dispute, but this is just a speculation on my side, it's not a fact. Either way, his debut EP, Morning Star, was released in the same year and received a lot of great reviews and praise for the industry people. Morning Star featured Stogie Teen, Kid X, Ginger Trail, Diamonds, and Aries. According to Zoocci, a lot of music on the project had dark themes because it's music he created during his lowest moments in life.
The production, I'd say, it was fairly dark, you know. Most of the songs are dark, and it's only because I was in a dark space, you feel what I'm saying? By like what I had to do and all the things I had sacrificed and all the time I had sacrificed and all the relationships, not like love relationships or spousal relationships, but like relationships with people, friends, you know, my mom and like my family, and like it was just a dark period where like people were turning their backs on me, and I was alone in studio a lot. Like most of the stuff that you hear right now, like even the features and everything, beats and stuff, I made at home, and I was just chilling at home alone. So it was a very dark period. That's why the EP is so dark. Maybe I'll make something happier because things are good now, you know.
This EP put Zoocci Dope on the map and solidified his position in the game. This EP also introduced listeners to Zoocci's state of mind and his thought process. You see, Zoocci has been suffering from anxiety disorder for a long time due to various personal issues, one of them being the fact that he dropped out of school and left his parents' house and stayed with his friends while pursuing his music dream. According to his exact words, he left his home and did not return for 3 years until his music career took off in 2017. But the success of Morning Star did not slow him down. In 2018, Zoocci came back with a tape called Do Not Disturb, which was a collaboration tape between him and Flame. Do Not Disturb was a fusion of hip-hop, trap, pop, and even included R&B influences. The 8-track project is filled with pop culture references, and the two artists share incredible chemistry. At this point, Zoocci was not only working on his music, in fact, he recruited 25K after the success of Culture Vulture, and he started executive producing his debut album, Peli Makaveli, which eventually dropped in 2020. While working on 25's album, Zoocci was also working on 2 other projects, his debut album and a collaboration tape with Diamonds called Die Dope. In January 2019, the Die Dope EP was released and the project received positive feedback, even better than Do Not Disturb. The sonics of the entire project were different compared to his previous projects. Die Dope also included a lot of Spanish influence. Throughout the project, you could hear snippets of dialogue and samples of Spanish instruments. In October 2021, the project was certified gold by RISA after selling over 20,000 units. Towards the end of 2019, Zoocci finally dropped the long-awaited album Anxiety. Anxiety fuses trap with introspective lyrics which showcase inner workings of Zoocci's mind. On this project, Zoocci literally poured all of his art. From the very first song to the last, Zoocci takes listeners on his life story, his anxiety disorder, and how it impacts his life. Most songs have snippets of dialogue and reflections on therapy which serve as a vivid backdrop. In my opinion, this project is Zoocci's most personal project, and of course, it was well received and gained millions of streaming numbers. I don't know if the budget was the problem, but I believe that Zoocci could have shot a lot of music videos for the album. During 2020, Zoocci did not go on tour to promote the Anxiety album because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Instead, he focused on finalizing 25K's debut album, Peli Makaveli, which was released that year. He went quiet during 2020, then reappeared in 2021, saying that Anxiety Plus, which is a deluxe version of it, would be released soon, but a few weeks later, he made a post saying that he's not in a good headspace, therefore postponing the release of the project. Later in 2021, he released his single called Toxic and unveiled the track list of Anxiety Plus. The project is only 7 tracks long but covers ground sonically with beat switches and meticulous transitions that chronicle the healing process.
Jeez, bro. Explain the rationale behind the plus, anxiety plus. What's the rationale behind that? Obviously, coming from the previous one, anxiety, and this is plus. What was the idea? It could have been anxiety too. What does the plus mean?
The plus is like it's probably 2 or 3 different significant meanings about it. One, it's an addition of like feeling and mood from the previous one. It's like an expansion pack. Imagine you had an expansion pack. It's like an expansion from the previous one. And since it's a deluxe also, and I didn't do my deluxe the conventional way of adding to the album like 2 months later or 3 months later. I waited 2 years and I made it a new project. So it's still a deluxe, but it's like an expansion pack. And also plus, it's like, the medical symbol all over the world is a plus.
Yeah.
So the response that I got from the previous one about how it's got healing components and how, when you listen to it, it's like the plus is the medical symbol.
That's great. Okay.
After the release of Anxiety Plus, Zoocci went on a hiatus from releasing music until November 2023 when he released the song State of Mind 5, which is a sequel of his State of Mind series songs. The artwork of the song is the lookalike of Von Thiel, his former manager at Stay Low. I'm not quite sure when did Zoocci initially sign with Stay Low, but his album Anxiety, Anxiety Plus and Die Dope were all released under the label. In case you don't know, Von Thiel is a businessman and the brains behind Shane Eagle's success. After he had a fallout with Shane Eagle, he left Eagle Entertainment and started managing other artists, including Zoocci. According to him, he has a contract with Zoocci which gives his label ownership over Zoocci's music. On State of Mind 5, Zoocci denies signing any paperwork with Von and claims that his signature was forged. Zoocci also said that Von is taking advantage of him because he is a white man and white men abuse power and also don't like losing to black guys.
Love, like you listed all of the artists that you have on Stay Low currently, right?
Yeah.
And all the partners that you've had the deals with. But at the top of mentioning those artists, you didn't mention Zoocci. You know, is he still part of the Stay Low conglomerate, or is he one of the people that said I'm not ready? And
So Zoocci's actually still signed to the label.
Yeah.
We have terminated Zoocci on a management level. So we're not managing Zoocci anymore. So like anything that's got to do with bookings and so forth, it's going directly through his own setup. But on a label level, I mean, it's a different business arrangement. You know, if you understand how the music business works, bro, if you do label agreements or business agreements, there's a certain amount of deliverables and a certain amount of responsibilities on each side that are obviously agreed to at the time. And there's things that need to be fulfilled. So yeah, there was a fallout, absolutely. Definitely a fallout specifically between him and I. And I think that's just resulted in now a little bit of a situation where he's still signed to us. That's an ongoing conversation and an ongoing business development that we're handling as per the procedure. But on a management level, we both mutually agreed that it wouldn't make sense anymore to be that intertwined on that level, and we just rather just let that one go. But so technically yes, but like from a day-to-day perspective, I might not have mentioned him because obviously I'm not dealing with Zoocci every day. But from a label and from like a release perspective, he's still with the label. Okay.
According to Zoocci, Von and Stay Low are trying to steal his masters and bleed him dry financially through court cases. Throughout this whole drama, the Stay Low guys kept on doing podcasts and explaining their side of the story while Zoocci kept quiet. State of Mind 5 was eventually taken down from YouTube by Stay Low lawyers.
And it's just like a thing of like, there's this idea out there that we are holding Zoocci back from dropping. But that's just not the truth. We've been trying to get the songs to release the music so that we can part our ways quite amicably as much as we possibly can, but that just hasn't happened. And then the second thing that we've heard is that nobody else can drop music if they've worked with Zoocci, which is also just not true. Because I was on the phone with Kilo before the album dropped, and I've been asking Sony for months, bro, when are you dropping this Kilo album? Now we haven't received the songs. I said, yo, when you guys get them, just clear the production with us. No problem, bro. Kilo must release. Spoke to Kilo, said the same thing to him. So it's like, if people are working with Zoocci, have features or have production with him, the only thing that we're saying is you have to honor the contract, which requires a clearance of a verse or a clearance of production through the label that is working with Zoocci officially on paper, right? That's it.
You'll clear it. You're not.
We clear it.
We have.
We clear it. We have done that.
I'll tell you
we have done it since everyone that.
Recently, in November 2024, Zoocci made a comeback by dropping a song called The King's Betrayal alongside McLaurin Dope Boy. In the song, Zoocci takes shots at Von. After 2 days of the release of the song, the Stay Low lawyers removed the song from YouTube. According to them, Zoocci is still signed to Stay Low and he cannot release anything without their approval. Now, I'm not quite sure how many albums or how much money Zoocci owes Stay Low, but at some point, they have to sit down and find a solution to this problem. I love Zoocci's music so much, and after years of listening to it, it's pretty clear that Zoocci is an emotional person. There's totally nothing wrong with being emotional, but I think when you mix the business and pleasure, the other one will always suffocate the other. Stay Low is a label owned by Stain Entertainment, which is owned by a billionaire, meaning these guys have a lot of capital injection. If they want to, they can drag this whole situation for years while Zoocci suffers financially. It's pretty clear to me that Zoocci did not fully understand his contract and what it entails. As for the Stay Low guys, they really do not have much to lose by dragging this whole situation. It may also happen that Stay Low are purposefully dragging this beef because of personal vendettas. But hey, what do I know? Anyway, this is just my 2 cents. Do let me know in the comment section what you think about this situation and if you see a way out for Zoocci anytime soon.